a background about your work at the National Institute of Communicable Disease, and especially your work on malaria, Professor?
Well, it's a very exciting place to work. It's a public health institute that deals with public health infectious diseases. So I've worked on Ebola, Congo fever, rabies, many vaccine preventable diseases, and I have a great passion for malaria because it is preventable and it's treatable.
Yeah.
Well, I think the capturing headlines was globally, regionally, and South Africa, but also locally. So you mentioned the malaria areas in South Africa. They're quite limited.
Yes.
Low-fault areas in Mpumalanga, very far north of KwaZulu-Natal, and then Limpopo, really bordering on Zimbabwe, Kruger National Park. But there was malaria, kind of unfortunately and a little surprisingly, in Pretoria in this recent season, and that was due not to people travelling to malaria areas, but mosquitoes travelling from malaria areas and unfortunately causing malaria into local people resident in Pretoria, which is an unusual occurrence.
Yes.
But well documented. It's something that we do know about from time to time.
All right.
So weather has a major effect on the occurrence of malaria. You need low altitudes, you need humidity, you need adequate rain, and you need the correct temperature, both for the mosquito to thrive and multiply, and then for the parasite to develop in the mosquito, because it's the parasite that causes malaria.
Yes. Plasmodium falciparum, yes. Just in case you're wondering.
Plasmodium falciparum is the main parasite. So you'll find them in below 1500 meters, and areas where the temperature is good, above 15 degrees. Malaria in Southern Africa is really a summer disease. Winter is perhaps too cold for their survival, or they kind of don't thrive as well.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of travel in the last while during the holidays. People have been particularly to Mozambique, to low-fault areas of South Africa, and some are still travelling over this coming weekend.
Yes, there's a long weekend from Thursday to next.
Exactly. So April is the peak of the malaria season. So you really need to take precautions. If you're still travelling, protect against mosquito bites. Female Anopheles mosquito needs a blood meal when the sun goes down. That's the time she's going to bite you. Use insect repellents containing DEET, D-E-E-T, something like Tabard Peaceful Sleep, applied to exposed areas when the sun goes down. Sleep under in an air-conditioned room, or one with fans. Keep the doors and windows with screens closed. Light a coil. Wear long pants with socks. Mosquitoes bite below the knees.
Yeah. And
try and reduce mosquito bites. If you're going across the border to Mozambique, a proper mosquito net should be used to sleep under. That will provide a lot of protection.
Okay.
I think Mozambique probably should add an anti-malarial preventative drug. Have to get it from a doctor. It's a high-risk area, high-risk season, so I think it's a much higher risk than travelling in South Africa.
Okay.
But most important, you can prevent almost all cases by preventing mosquito bites, perhaps taking a preventative drug. Just be aware, if you develop a fever, flu-like illness in the month after return, this could be malaria until disproved. It's not tonsillitis, it's not flu. You must demand a malaria test, a blood test. You can't look at someone and say it is or isn't malaria. Demand a malaria test. Tell the health practitioner you've travelled to a malaria area. Make sure the test is done early in the illness, on day 1. Malaria is rapidly progressive. Get the results. They should be ready within an hour or 2. It's a simple malaria blood test. If it's negative, it needs to be repeated. And if it's positive, there is very effective treatment. Malaria is unforgiving. You wait an extra day or 2, you get complications, cerebral malaria, kidney failure, much more difficult to treat, and a chance of actually not making it. Don't confuse malaria with flu.
Yes.
If you look back on fit young people who died of malaria, their misdiagnosis, 1 to 10, was flu. Don't become a victim.
Yes, do not become a part of the statistics, all right? And if anybody asks you, where did you get that from, just tell them Professor Lucille Blumberg said it on Toxic 107.2. Professor Blumberg, I have been asking people what their hopes are for elimination, but I want to ask you specifically, what are the challenges we're facing right now that is preventing us to getting towards elimination?
Well, it's a hopeful dream by 2030 to eliminate malaria in many countries in the world. Elimination means no local transmission. We're not eradicating it, which means off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I think it's funding. I think as soon as malaria is a bit of a victim of its success, and as soon as you show some success, people think, okay, we can step back and funds go elsewhere. I think we need to change our game. It's not about control. Control is not the same elimination. We need to intensify control, but we need to introduce some new interventions. We also need to look very carefully at malaria coming across our borders. We live on the border of Mozambique, high transmission country, a lot of travel between the two. So what we do here, we need to do in the trans-border areas.
Yes, too.